Good afternoon, dear students. I'm Atajonova Malohat, and today we will speak about teaching models. What is a teaching model? A model of teaching is a plan or pattern that can be used to shape curriculums, long-term courses of studies, to design instructional materials, and to guide instruction in the classroom and other settings based on Joyce and Whale. Functions of teaching model. Let's speak about them. What are they? They are formulate and complete and perfect teaching scheme. Enable teachers to analyze and evaluate its strengths and weaknesses so as to plan and implement appropriate follow-up actions. As basic guidance for teachers for reflection during feedback sessions. Provide guidance to planners and teachers to enable them to plan and carry out the teaching process effectively. Models of teaching, they are social, behavior, personal, information process. Information processing model. Types of information processing model, let's speak about them. They are divided into the following types. The first one is information processing model of memory, Gagne's information processing model, the expository teaching model, and inquiry teaching model. As for the inquiry teaching model, it's divided into some subgroups. The first one is scientific inquiry model, social inquiry model, jurisprudential inquiry model, and the Suchman's inquiry model. What do our memory have? Sensory memory compartment hold a large amount of information in a duration just enough for a small portion to be selected for longer storage. Short-term memory capacity is limited in it, storage duration is brief unless associated with rehearsal, and a long-term memory. It's a very large storage capacity, unlimited one, stored longer. Information processing model of memory, they are sensory input, sensory memory compartment, and the short-term memory compartment, and a long-term memory compartment. Information processing model of memory. Incoming information sensory input pass through sensory, short-term memory, and a long-term memory. Sensory memory retains information for only a fraction of a second, but enough to select the portion of information that arrests one's attention. The information that caught one's attention is selected for long storage. Short-term can hold unrehearsed information for about 20-30 seconds. Information can be stored longer if it is engaged on the rehearsal, repetition of memorizing. Long-term information encoded may last weeks, months, or even years. Gagne's information processing model, environmental situation. They are stimuli and implementation. Stimuli is divided into perception, sensory organs, short-term memory compartment, and implementation, internal responses, and long-term memory compartment. The next one is Gagne's 8 stage of learning process. They are phase and action related. Phases: motivation phase, apprehension phase, acquisition phase, retention phase, recall phase, generalization phase, performance phase, and the feedback phase. Action related, they are expectancy, observation, perception, selection, encoding, pre-storing, memory retention, recall searching, transfer, response, reinforcement. Important aspects in Gagne's 8 phases. They are learning readiness, motivation, perception, conceptualization, memorizing, forgetting, learning transfer. And principle and the concept are explained verbally as all the facts are written on the board, showed on the screen. Time saving enables teacher to finish all related concepts in a shorter period, and the pupils merely listen quietly. More to a lecturing method, less actively for primary schools. Inquiry teaching model, scientific inquiry model, used to study principles, phenomena, and the characteristics of scientific knowledge, research process based on 5 stages. They are identify the problem, ascertain relevant information, determine hypothesis, testing hypothesis, evaluate, interpret, infer, and conclude. Social inquiry model, used to study topics related to social and humanity aspects based on activities such as observation, interview, and questionnaire. Emphasizes on social interaction process. 6 steps: formulation of problem by teacher, formulation of hypothesis by pupils, define hypothesis, discuss and confirm validity of the hypothesis, collect and analyze evidence for the hypothesis, and interpret and derive inference and conclusion. Suchman's inquiry model. Based on assumption that strategies used by scientists can be used as a teaching model, especially in the study of science. Procedures: teacher determines and indicates the problem. Teacher explains the inquiry process to solve the previous problem. Students are guided to form hypotheses, followed by the collection of relevant data. Students are collected data to test hypotheses. Aim to formulate theorem, law, principle, and theory. Discussion and making inferences. Teacher and students discuss together and analyze. The importance of information processing model. Students are prepared with better equipment and information for learning. Students are enforced with good mental exercises through different methods and approaches. Students are informed of the objectives and the learning outcomes that should be achieved. Help students to remember the information for a longer period of time. Dear students, this is the end of our today's lesson. At our today's lesson, we spoke about different types of teaching models. And for the next time, you should read the information and try to remember and try to revise.